Hello, beautiful soul. You may have noticed this already. People sometimes use completely different words to talk about the same reality, depending on how they experience it. One person says God, another speaks of the universe, someone else talks about universal consciousness, and some look at it through science or quantum physics and call it the quantum field. Everything in the universe is energy. A chair, a rock, a plant, an animal, humans. When we take this into account and take a moment to explore the different views and place them side by side, you see that they often describe the same underlying energy, simply with different words. That is exactly what this video is about, bringing clarity to these different languages. A little deep dive, but I'll try to explain it as accessibly as possible during a nature walk. What always strikes me is that different traditions are actually describing the same thing, but each in their own language. Some people speak the spiritual language, and to be very clear, when I speak about spirituality, I do not mean religion or dogmas. Others speak the language of consciousness, and others use the language of science or quantum physics. And even though these three languages seem completely different at first glance, when you place them side by side, you see that they often point in the same direction. And as I already explained, everything in the universe is energy, and not all energy is visible to the human eye. So every person can have a different perception of these energies, and this is why those different languages emerged. Let's look at this with a few examples. When someone uses the word God, they usually don't mean an old man with a beard sitting on a cloud. What they mean is there is something much greater than us, the origin of everything. In the spiritual language, God or the source is the beginning of everything, and the universe is what flows from it. In the language of consciousness, this source is the universal consciousness from which every experience arises, and the universe is the form that appears within it. And in the language of quantum physics, we speak of the quantum field as the basis of all potentialities, and of the universe as the manifestation that becomes visible from that field. Three languages, one reality. Another example, words like angels, archangels, or light beings. In the spiritual language, they seem to refer to beings, sometimes even with wings. But if you look at how people actually experience them, it is usually qualities that arise within them: support, guidance, strength, protection, clarity. In the language of consciousness, we speak of archetypes, of forms of consciousness, exactly as Carl Jung described them: primordial images present in every human being, which appear when a certain quality is needed. And in the language of quantum physics, we find the same idea in the form of information patterns, ways in which energy organizes itself and takes direction. Some examples. Archangel Michael represents strength, courage, and protection. This corresponds to the archetype of the hero, with the warrior motif as its cultural form. In quantum language, it is an energetic pattern that reinforces stability and boundaries. Archangel Raphael is associated with healing and balance. As an archetype, this corresponds to the healer or the mother. In quantum language, it is a pattern that promotes harmony and restoration. Archangel Gabriel is experienced as communication, inspiration, and clarity. As an archetype, this corresponds to the messenger. In quantum language, it is an information pattern that organizes direction and understanding. 3 languages, 1 phenomenon. And let's take the 4 elements: earth, water, fire, and air. In the spiritual language, they represent forces. Earth brings stability, water creates flow, fire initiates change, air brings clarity. In the language of consciousness, you feel these same forces within yourself. Earth as a need for calm and boundaries, water as the movement of emotions, fire as motivation, air as mental clarity. And in scientific language, they are physical processes. Earth for matter, water for flow, fire for energy, air for movement. 3 perspectives, 1 reality. And now let's talk about collective consciousness. In the spiritual language, it refers to everything humans carry together: emotions, beliefs, patterns, and experiences that move through a group, a culture, or humanity. In the language of consciousness, these are collective patterns and archetypes, reactions that are not personal but active in many people at the same time. In a family where no one expresses emotions, everyone automatically behaves strong. In a company where speed is valued, everyone speaks, decides, and acts faster. In a country marked by generations of war, a collective pattern of vigilance or mistrust develops. And in a spiritual community, a light and love pattern can emerge, making people softer and more open. In science and psychology, we speak of social dynamics, group behavior, mirror neurons, cultural conditioning, and information exchange. 3 languages describing the same thing. We are not only individuals, we are also influenced by what groups create together. And let us now talk about the big word manifestation. It is often made mystical, while it is actually very simple to understand, not so simple to do. When people say you can manifest what you want, it does not mean you can order something. It means that what you believe internally and where you place your attention determines the direction your life takes. In the spiritual language, a clear intention sets things in motion. In the language of consciousness, your brain notices mainly what matches your beliefs. If you believe something is possible, you see opportunities you would otherwise miss. And in the language of quantum physics, it's not about thoughts, but about systems containing multiple possibilities, which only take form at the moment of interaction. This is compared to the idea that several timelines exist, and your choices, attention, and actions determine which one becomes reality. That is why it feels like you are manifesting. Your inner direction influences which option materializes. This was a quick overview of the different layers. I could go much deeper, but the video would become too long and too heavy. When you place all these perspectives side by side, everything becomes simpler, doesn't it? You see that people simply use different words to talk about the same experience, and that makes it easier to understand each other without anyone having to give up their vision. Everyone has the right to use their own words. Everyone has the right to take their experience seriously. And that is the heart of the message. Spirituality, consciousness, and even quantum physics often speak about the same reality, but each from its own angle. And when you see that, a lot of confusion disappears. If this video brought you something, a like would be appreciated so it can be shown to others. And if you don't want to miss the next one, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time!